So then we're going to know about the scaling. What is that? Scaling.
Scaling.
So what does mean scaling is nothing but a increasing the resources. Increasing the
Mhm.
resources. Okay. Why you need to resources like RAM, processor, hard disk will going to increase to meet the demand and requirements. Suppose they create an instance, suppose they create a virtual machine. So that size is like assume that is 1 GB. Then I want to like I'm just running in a server. I just create a virtual machine running a website or web application. Then customer feels that is running very slow. Okay, so when it is running slow means we need to increase the resources of your virtual machine. So when you increase the virtual machine resources, what happen? Then it will be run properly. Then scaling is nothing but increasing the resources of the virtual machine. It may be RAM, processor, or graphic card. Okay. So in this scaling, first we're going to create a one virtual machine. Okay. Suppose I create a virtual machine. Default when you create a virtual machine, the size is in free tier. It is a B1S. B1S. Suppose I want to
Mhm.
increase the size, like to other, like I want to increase the size to 2 GB or 4 GB or 6 GB or 8 GB. Then I increase the size of the instance and I increase the size of the disk also, hard disk also. Okay, increase the size of the hard disk also. Okay, but size can be increased or decreased. Mean that I want to increase the size to 1 GB RAM to 2 GB RAM. Again, I want to increase to 2 GB to 4 GB, and I increase to 8 GB to 16 GB. That I can increase and also I can decrease. But when this disk is there, when I have a disk is there, the size is increased to 500 GB to 1 TB. I can't decrease, but I can increase the size. Okay, I can't decrease. It is not happen. Once we increase the size of the disk, hard disk, we can't decrease. We can increase only. The same thing happens in AWS and Google Cloud also. The disk size can be increased, cannot be decreased. But the size of the instance, like I had increased the size to 1 GB to 2 GB, 2 GB to 4 GB. I want to decrease, then I can decrease. I can decrease.
Mhm.
Okay. Here I just create a resource group for this lab. First I create a resource group. Then I just deploy virtual machine and we're going to upgrade this virtual machine to the next size. Next size. Here first I will go to the resource group. Click on create resource group. Give the resource group name, any name. Now just create a resource group. First I create a virtual machine. By creating the virtual machine here, click on create virtual machine. Select the virtual machine resource group. I selected a resource group. Then give the virtual machine name. I'm just giving the name as VM1. And I select here the no infrastructure redundancy. Select standard. Then I selected Ubuntu. What is the size here? See here. What is the size here? B1S. That is 1 CPU and GB RAM. What is the size here? 1
1
CPU,
GB.
1 GB RAM. In
Mhm.
future I want to upgrade because of I'm just running this server and just users are hitting here. Then in future the users are increasing day by day. Then we need to increase the size. You can increase the size to other size, like there are multiple sizes are there, like standard DS2 VS. There are multiple sizes are D4 SP3, like so many sizes are there. We can increase the size according to our requirement. According to our requirement, I just created a size B1S default. There is 1 CPU, 1 GB RAM. 1 CPU and GB RAM. And I'll just give the password here. In inbound ports, I just allowed SSH and just click on the event name. Now I created a virtual machine. The size is here 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. In future, then traffic is increased to traffic hits more traffic is hitting this virtual machine. Then we're going to upgrade to the next size. We're going to upgrade to the next size. That is possible it is possible to upgrade for next size in Azure. In of course it is an AWS also we can upgrade. I just explained in previous AWS also we can increase. But thing is there in AWS to increase the size of the instance we need to first shut down the virtual machine, then only it is possible. Here also same thing. Here two things are there. You don't need to shut down here. We can directly upgrade to the next one. But what happens here? Whenever you change the size, automatically Azure will shut down, restart, Azure will restart, and it will change the size. AWS, you don't find any option to change the size. When you shut down only, you can find the option. But here, when the instance is running, it show we can change the size. But the thing is there, here also in background, Azure will restart. Azure will restart the machine and it will change the size. Okay. In live also we can change here. Okay. But thing is even the live of the change, again Azure will restart the machine. It will change to the next size. It will change to the next size. Now created a virtual machine. The size is B1S, that is 1 GB RAM and 1 CPU. Then I want to upgrade. I want to upgrade. Okay, there is also no scaling. Just this is the resource here. You can check the resource here. This resource, what is the size here? Standard B1S, 1 CPU and 1 GB RAM. Okay. I want to upgrade to the next level, next size. I want to upgrade to the next size. Okay. I want to upgrade to the next size. So to upgrade to next size, there is an option is there under the VM availability and scale. There is an option is there availability and scale. In this one, we have an option is there size. Just click on the size here. Okay. Just click on the size here. Here, see this. If the virtual machine is currently running, change it will size will cost to restart it. Okay. When you change the size from one size to next size, what happen here? The size will be restarted. The virtual machine will be restarted. Stopping the virtual machine may reveal the additional sizes. These are the multiple sizes are there. Whenever us change the size to the next level, what happen? Azure will restart it automatically. After restarted backgroundly, then it will change to the next size. What is the present size? I have a B1S. What is the present size selected? What is the present size selected?
I think it's
B1S.
one. Yeah, B1S.
B1S. This one.
Mm-hmm.
B1S. This one. Which one? Check
B1S.
here. Check here. What is the size here? What is the size here?
1
B1.
GB.
B1S.
B1S.
B1S. What is the size here?
B1S.
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 I want to change to the next size. Click on the size here. Here there is multiple options are there. You can select according to your requirement. Whether I want to upgrade to 2 GB RAM, then I will select V1MS. Want to upgrade to other sizes, there are multiple sizes are there. You can change your sizes according to your requirement. Okay. Another thing here, in future I want to downgrade, I can downgrade also. It is possible. So I just upgraded B1S. Then I want to upgrade to B1 again, B1MS to B1S. It is possible. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
What is the B1MS? What is the B1MS is what is the size here? 2 GB RAM. 2 GB RAM. I want to upgrade to B 2 GB RAM. Just select here and resize. And resize. What
Research.
happen when you resize? Do you want to resize standard B1S? The virtual machine currently running, change the size to the B1MS and automatically the machine will restarted. After restarting only, it will change to the B1S to the B1S to the B1MS. Understand? It automatically restarted. Whenever you select a size, it automatically restarted. Okay? Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It automatically restarted. In AWS, you don't find any option. It is mandatory to stop the instance. Okay, in AWS, you need to stop the instance. Then only you can change the size. Here,
Yes.
you can directly change the size, but here also the same thing happened. It automatically Azure will restart and automatically change the size. Okay, now
Uh-huh.
selected size. What happens in AWS? Do you remember?
You have to stop the.
Here you don't need to stop. You don't need to stop. But thing is, it is restarted. It is
Hmm. Restarted.
restarted. You don't need to stop here. Directly you can change the size. But here also Azure will automatically in background it will be restarted and it will change the size to one size to another size. One size to another size. So now system is restarting. System is restarting and it will change the size one size to another size. It will change to the B1S to B2MS. Okay? B1MS.
Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Let me wait here. So it is in the restarting stage. Or else you can stop and I can change the size. That is also possible. Just stop the machine and you can change the size also. Now what is the size here? What is the size here? Hello?
The size is B1MS.
Yes. Previous size?
B1S.
Yes. Now again we want to change to downward. It is possible. It is possible. Again I want to go to the this one. Which one? V1S. I just click on the resize and
Hmm.
click on the resize. Okay. We can downgrade and upgrade according to our requirement. Okay. Okay, you can. It is possible to downgrade and upgrade. Understood?
Yes.
Now the virtual machine is running. Changing the size will got to be restarted. Okay, stopping the virtual machine reveal me additional sizes. If you stop again here, it will show another sizes. Okay, either directly you can change or you can stop again we can change. Okay,
Hmm.
why we need to change? Because of two demand requirement demand. Suppose my application is running inside the virtual machine, then over the period of the time users are increasing hitting my application, then I need to upgrade my resources to keep the demand of the user requirement. Understood?
Yes.
Generally, why you need to upgrade your laptop in generally? Just leave it in cloud environment. Then how you want to? Why you need to upgrade the laptop? Suppose your laptop is running slowly, then you will upgrade RAM.
Right.
Okay, RAM. And
Mm.
another thing is there. You are storing the data like the data you are storing in the hard disk, filling over the period of the time. Then you will add extra disk to your laptop, or you can upgrade your hard disk to one size to another size to keep your data requirement, storage requirement. Same thing here also happen. Same thing here also happened. But thing is there, the for the size like RAM and processor we can change, we can downgrade and upgrade. But the thing is there, once we upgraded the disk, hard disk, we can't downgrade. You can upgrade only here. Understood? It is not possible to suppose I attach a disk which is 500 GB. I want to downgrade to 500 GB to 200 GB. It is not possible in the cloud environment, whether in AWS Azure. Got it?
Hmm.
So same thing. I don't think you remember in AWS. The same thing I had explained in AWS also. Okay. Here also the same thing.
I.
Here also the same thing. Okay.
Hmm.
I just explained EBS. Do you remember EBS? Elastic Block Storage. In the Elastic Block Storage, I explained it that time. Okay. The same thing
Yes.
here also. We can add a disk. only upgrade the disk, but we can't downgrade. It is not possible. Okay, that is mean what scaling. Now we can check
Mm-hmm.
here. The size is changed to which one
P1S.
again. Okay.
Yeah.
Now next thing we're going to create a disk here. You can check here in the virtual machine. You just go to the virtual machine. Go to the virtual machine here. Under the virtual machine, whenever you create a virtual machine, automatically Azure will create a one disk. Okay, that is a system disk automatically created. Okay, whenever you create a virtual machine, the Azure will automatically create a one disk. That is called as Azure disk. That is also known as the OS disk. It is known as the OS disk. Whereas in AWS, it is known as the root value. It is known as
Mm-hmm.
the root value.
Root family.
I want to add a more disk. I want to add a more disk. You can add a disk also. You can add a disk also here. Okay. First, I'll just log into the virtual machine. First, I will log into the virtual machine. We'll check that how much size is there for the Azure. Generally, when you take a Windows machine, it defaultly takes the Azure disk size is 127 GB. How much? 127 GB.
124.
Whereas in AWS it is only 8 GB only. Only 8 GB. I'm just logging into the
Mm-hmm.
console. I just created Ubuntu machine. Here I just go to the log into the machine. Once I log in machine, how do you log in? Just go to the same thing like a Git bash.
Remote desktop.
Go to the one open Git bash. The same thing. It won't
Yes.
change. Everything is the same here. Here I just have a paste. Then enter the password. You just log into machine. How will you log into the root? By typing sudo su.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the command to check the disk? What is this? How will you check
Uh,
the list the disk in Linux?
LSBLK.
Yeah, exactly. LSBLK. So now you can check the disk here. There is one,
Mm-hmm.
two disks are there. One is the one disk and one disk is how much size is there? 30 GB. You can
13
find
GB.
another disk is there, 4 GB disk. It was created by Azure, which is to store the logs of the machine, like machine logs. Okay. It will create a one disk. It is a 4 GB. Even though if you create a Windows machine, if you create a Linux machine also, it will create a one 4 GB disk. That is a temporary disk where it can store that logs. Okay, virtual machine logs
Mm-hmm.
are stored in the another disk. It was created by there is no concept there in AWS. In Azure, it will create a one disk which is to store the logs of the machine. There are two disks are there. One is the 30 GB disk and second one is what? 4 GB disk.
4 GB.
Then I want to add a disk. I want to add a disk. Then how will you add a disk here? Go to the machine here. Okay. Here click on the disk here. Click on the which option? disk
Yes.
option. Okay, click on the disk here. Okay. In the AWS, it is disk is known as what is the name for the disk in AWS?
Volume.
EBS. What is that? EBS.
EBS.
Here it is known as the disk. Okay. Here one disk is there. You can check the disk here. The disk size is the disk name is VM1. This is OS disk. What is the size here? 30 GB.
Is 30
Most size
GB.
30 GB.
30.
30 GB. And
Mm.
there is the storage type is there like you can check here the LRS premium SSD LRS.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What are the types of disk like same like in EBS volumes are there like multiple volumes are there like we have a GP2, GP1, GP3, IO1, IO2. Do you remember?
Yes.
The same thing here
Different
also.
sizes and different
Yeah,
uses.
sizes.
Right? Some is
Same thing
faster.
here
Some.
also. Here also. So here these are the Azure disk types. Azure disk type. Okay. There are multiple types of disks are there in AWS. We have a ST1, ST2, and we have a premium SSD. Huh? Okay, the same thing here. The same thing here also. Azure having a multiple disks are there. Azure also having a disk types are there.
Different is.
What are the
Mm-hmm.
types of disks are there? There are four. There are multiple types of disks are there. One is the ultra disk. Second one the premium SSD V2, and premium SSD, standard SSD, standard HDD, standard HDD. And
Mm-hmm.
in AWS, the maximum size of the disk can create a 64 TB. Here also 64 TB. Here also 64
60
TB.
GB.
Here SSD, premium SSD V2, a standard SSD, and standard HDD. Okay. When you use ultra disk like IO2 and IO1, do you remember IO2 and
Mm-hmm.
IO1?
Yeah.
Same here, ultra disk here, IO2 and IO1.
A very fast memory.
These are used for IO intensity workloads like SAP HANA, top tier databases like SQL and transaction heavy workload. Then you can use for the ultra disk and the premium SSD. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So when you run for production, even AWS also, when you go for the production, you go for IO1, IO2. IO1
Mm-hmm.
and IO2.
I own IoT.
Whereas in GP2 and GP3, they're used for the development testing. Development and
Right.
testing.
Testing.
Okay. So in production environment, they go for the ultra disk and premium SSD V2. Whereas for the we have a premium SSD and standard SSD, they are used for the web servers, lightly used like development and testing. Development and testing. You can check
Testing.
here. The maximum disk you can create ultra disk and premium SSD is the 65 TB. Yeah, there is a 32 TB for premium SSD or hard disk. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So what is mean throughput?
Yes.
I had explained that day. The throughput is read and write operations per second. What is mean
Mm-hmm.
throughput? Read and write
Read and
operations
write
per second.
output per second.
Okay. So here
Mm-hmm.
IOPS means input output operations per second. Okay. Input output
Output.
operation per second.
Output.
So whatever the disk which is having a IOPS and throughput, which is having a more less latency and a high speed. It's having more IOPS and a high throughput will having a less latency and high speed. Okay, and cost is
Mm-hmm.
also high. Cost is also high. Understood. And you can check here the standard HDD. They are written here. It is retired in the September 8, 2028. Understood?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Which one? The standard HDD will no more in the after 2028.
Yes.
Okay?
So how would what wouldn't they use for big storage?
Which one?
Like standard HDD,
Here you can
they're
check
going to
here.
just have
Here, check here,
standard
check.
SSD then.
Here, check standard here. You can check the standard HDD is for the backup and archive data.
But then when they get rid of it in 2028, are they going to
Again,
stick to standard SSD?
they will keep as standard SSD. Okay?
Oh, okay. Okay.
So these are the types of disk. What are the disks are there? Ultra disk, premium SSD, and a standard SSD and a standard HDD. Okay?
Yeah.
So you can check here the sizes and ultra disk performance. Okay. Here, what is the disk I chosen? That one you can check here. Premium SSD. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Fine. Okay. And what
Yeah.
is my LRS? Well, I'll explain you during the redundancy. I'll explain what is my LRS. Okay. How the gap
Mm-hmm.
data will keep LRS, ZRS, URS, and this thing. So he had
Okay.
selected a premium SSD. It is the OS disk is how much? 30 GB. Okay?
30 GB.
And another 4 GB, it will create another disk. It is to keep the log messages. Log. To virtual machine logs are stored in the this disk. Which disk?
4GB.
4 GB. Now, how will you create a disk here? How will you create a disk here? And the disk here, when an option is there, you just click on the disk here. There is an option is there. What? Create an attach
Then,
disk. Just
yes.
click here the create and attach disk and give the name. Okay, it's nothing but identification name. What is the
Okay.
LUN means logic unit number of the data disk. The value used to identify the data disk within the VM, therefore must be unique for each data attached to the VM. So what is mean
Mm-hmm.
LUN is a number, just a number, like I just add a number. Okay, ID. Okay, logic unit number. Okay, then the disk name, I want to give the disk name. I'm just giving the name as a value 1. Just giving the name as a value 1. Got it?
Okay.
Then it is asking for the which one you want to create. There is a multiple options are there. The default is selected a premium SSD. Premium
Mm-hmm.
SSD. And the size it is asking. How much size you need. Okay. So here I'll just give the size as a 10 GB. Okay. Got it?
Yes.
And here you don't need in AWS, we need to create a disk, okay, and we need to attach, okay,
Okay.
but you don't need to attach. Why you do need to attach? If I'm directly connecting to machine, you don't need to attach, just need to create a disk only, okay. How much size I'm
Mm-hmm.
giving here? 10 GB.
10 GB.
Just click on the apply. Just click on the apply, okay. Generally it takes time, okay. Then after that, refresh one more time, okay. 1 minute. Just refresh 1 minute. There is an option in there, update virtual machine. Just refresh. Just refresh. Now you can check
Okay.
here the size of the disk which is created. The disk name is what? Volume 1. Okay.
Yeah.
What is the size here? 10 GB.
10 GB.
So you can create up to 64 TB. You can create up to.
64 TB.
Now you can check again the list the block of the disk here. LSBLK. So now you can check here the size here. What is this another disk?
10 GB.
Then how will you create a disk? I told you that command, the same command. F disk, right? How will you create? What is the command to create a disk? Okay, F disk is a command line utility tool to create it, to create a value, to create a partition, to create a
Yes.
partition. So
Partition.
now how will you create here? F disk class DAV. What is the command?
Slash.
SDC,
Yeah. X
not
STC.
X here,
Sorry.
not X here.
So yeah, STC.
Okay, enter. Then to create a partition, I told you that what N help. Okay, M for help. You check, click on M for help. There are multiple options are there. To create a partition, press N. Understand?
Yeah. Yeah.
To delete the partition, press D. Okay? To list the partition, press F. To save the
Mm-hmm.
partition, press W. To quit the partition, press Q. Now create a partition to S N. Okay? It is asking for you want to create a primary partition, extended partition. You can create primary partition and extended partition. I don't want to go in detail. I just select a default. Select as a keep it default. And partition number also I keep it default. And size
Okay.
also I want to create only single disk for the single partition. Just click on the same thing. Okay. Understood? Then click on the.
Yeah.
Now how will you save here? Click on WQ. Click on WQ. Okay.
Mhm.
Then how will you check here the size here LSBLK? You can check when you enter the command LSBLK. There is the disk is there. What is the disk name? SDC. Inside the disk there is a partition is created. What is the partition? SDC one. Okay, got it.
Yes.
Then how will you then we need to do the format. How will you do the format? we need to change the file system. Then how will you change the file
Mm-hmm.
system? Okay, mkfs dot
Okay, first
ext4 slash dev slash what is this?
slash
This
SDC.
SDC 1. Okay,
Right.
okay. Then I told
Yeah.
you that we can't directly access the partition or value. First we need to create what? Folder.
Mm.
First we create what? Folder.
Folder.
So then here mkdir Javed. Okay. Then how will you mount this one? Mount. How will you mount? Slash
Mount
dev.
slash DV slash SDC1.
Then what is the name of the disk? What is the name of the folder? Javed.
Right.
Then how will you access this disk? Just go inside the folder.
Yeah.
Done. How will you write
Yep.
down some content? Like here I want to write
That's
down the content like file. I want to create a file. Touch F2
uh,
and F3. It will create a file. Create a
yeah.
file.
Fine.
Done. Now go to the ls here.
Yes.
This is the thing. And to know the disk utilization, what is the command here? df minus h. Got it? Okay. You can see here the mount.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
The same thing. That is nothing. If you practice in AWS, then you don't feel any difficulty here. Okay. The
Yeah, I
same thing.
think it's the commands and everything are same.
Okay. The same. Everything is same.
Like for Linux and stuff. Everything.
Because of all are same. Even though if you are using on-premises data center also, the same on-premises, the same thing here.
Mm-hmm.
It won't change. Okay, everything. Even though I explained yesterday, the commands to install the web server in the Windows or Linux, that will also same. It won't change. Okay, except the how to create the virtual machine only change. Remaining things are keep it same here also. So that's why
Yeah. Yeah.
I told you that if once you learn one cloud, it is almost all 70% you know everything. You just need to manage only 30 or 40% only. Okay.
Yeah.
Once you know one cloud, then you can easily manage the other clouds. So not a big issue at all. Okay. Just a matter of time, like 1 week and 10 days, it can easily understand every almost all concepts. If you learn one cloud properly. Okay. That is the thing. Here you can check here the disk size. I want to modify here. I want to modify. This is the volume which I created. Okay. Which I created.
Yeah.
Do you remember backup? Backup.
Backup. Yeah.
Hmm. We had taken the backup like in EBS. We had taken the backup and balance snapshot. Do you remember snapshot in
Snapshot.
AWS? Here also we can take the
Yes.
snapshot of the disk. Snapshot of the disk. Hmm? How will you take the
Snapshot.
snapshot of the disk here? The same thing. I just go to the disk and images. So what is the disk name? There are multiple disks are there. This is the disk here. To take the snapshot. Okay. Okay. There is an option is there. Go to the disk here. There is an option is there. You can find here. Here you can find here. What is this? Here an option is there. Create snapshot. What does it mean snapshot? What does it mean snapshot? What does it mean snapshot, brother? Hello. What does mean snapshot? Hello?
Yes, sorry. What was the
What
question?
does mean snapshot?
A snapshot is just a quick backup, right?
Yeah, here also the same you can take. In AWS, we are taking a snapshot. Here also,
Mm-hmm.
I want to take the backup of the disk. Okay, I want to take
Okay.
the backup of the disk. Then how to take up the backup of the disk? Go to the virtual machine. Under the virtual machine, my option is there. Under the disk images, we have an option is there. Which option? Disk. Click on the disk here.
Mm-hmm.
There is one disk is there, volume one, which was created right now. Okay. Inside the disk, I have a data is there. Okay. I want to take the backup of the disk. I want to take the backup of the disk. Then how to take the backup of the disk? There is an option is there. Which option? Create snapshot. Create a snapshot. Okay. Here click on the create snapshot. It will take the backup of the disk. And the name, it is asking the name here. Name, I want to take the backup of game. I want to give the name. Backup value. Okay. There is a two snapshot types are there. One is incremental type and the second one is the full type. Here, what happens here incremental save on the storage cost by making the partial copy. The disk based on the difference between the last snapshot. Mean that I'd just have a data is there. It will have a difference from previous data. It means yesterday's data and today's data. And it won't take the whole backup. It will take the backup of only the one today what I had modified today only. Which one? Incremental backup.
Mm-hmm.
What is the full backup? Take everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Understand what is my incremental and what is my full? What is my incremental? What is my incremental? What is the incremental backup and what is my full backup? Okay. Here, suppose I have a data is there. I have a data. Suppose I store the data like this one. Okay. There is a data is there. I just stored the data 1, 2, 3. It was yesterday. It was yesterday. Okay. It was yesterday. It was taken, backup was taken yesterday also. I just modified the data, add the data again 4, 5. What happens here? Yesterday already taken the backup. What happens here? Incremental backup. What is the difference here? This is the difference. It will take the backup of this one only. That is the incremental backup. When you go for the full time backup, will take whole like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Take the whole backup. Understand? So this is the difference between an incremental backup and a full backup. So incremental backup save on the storage cost making the partial of the disk based on the difference between the last snapshot. Full backup makes a complete read-only copy of the selected disk. Okay. Here to want to create a backup here. What is the option? Create a backup. Okay. Here backup is also known as the snapshot here. This backup is known as the snapshot here. Okay. So we can take the snapshot of the OS disk also. There is a OS disk is there. I want to take the this disk. This is a disk is there. Okay. Here I can take the snapshot of the OS disk. This is a OS disk. Here an option is there. Create snapshot. We can take the OS disk snapshot also. Also we can take the snapshot of the data disk also. Why you need to take the backup? Like any disaster occurs, we can recover the data by using the snapshot. By using the snapshot. Okay? Understood? Hello? Okay. And what are the things we had discussed today? What are the things discussed today? We created a virtual machine. We created one virtual machine. We created a virtual machine. Then we had upgraded different sizes, like sizes. So then I upgraded sizes from B1S to B2S and B1S to B1MS. Then I downgraded B1MS to B1S. So mean that we can change the sizes from according to our requirement. We can upgrade or downgrade. The size can be changed from upgrade or downgrade. At the same thing, the scaling can be done based on the requirement. I want to upgrade the disk, you can upgrade the disk. It is not possible to downgrade. It is possible to only upgrade only. It is possible only upgrade only. Okay? It is not possible to upgrade only. So that's it. Tomorrow we'll see the remaining things of the how to create a, snapshot and how will you take create a image. Okay. Tomorrow we'll see you. Okay. That is the thing we had discussed. What other thing we had discussed? The scaling. Okay. Tomorrow we'll discuss how to take the snapshot and how you take the snapshot and how you create a image of the virtual machine. Okay. How to create a image of the virtual machine. Tomorrow we'll see you. Okay.